So this is lecture 7, where I will be talking about IoT architecture and protocols. Some of you might be wondering, why IoT again? I thought we have covered that. So today we are going to really look and deep dive into what IoT architecture is all about. And in terms of protocol, the last time when we visited protocols were on field bus. Right? This time round, we are going to look at protocols that are widely used in IoT. All right. Lecture 7 on IoT architecture and protocol. I will first of all, bring back some memory to understand what is internet first, and then subsequently to share with you in terms of IoT architecture, how are we going to look at it from the layered framework, and then subsequently touch on IoT protocol. So just to give you some glimpse into what are we going to do for this week lab, we are going to learn about MQTT, one of the most commonly used IoT protocol. And this week, you will be implementing MQTT to exchange data with ThinkSpeed. All right, so this is something that you will be looking into. And with no further delay, let's quickly look at how internet got started. So why is internet? I think this is trivial. All of you have been surfing, browsing, and making use of the internet almost every now and then. So in short, the internet is a global network where it connects devices together within one big network, right? Sometimes the WWW, World Wide Web, right, describes how this network is like. When was it invented? Yeah, some of these dates is good for information. I won't test you on this history, right? But I think it's important to see that internet was invented, all right, late 1960. And if you look at this year, 2025 already, right, it has been more than 50 years. A technology that has been more than 50 years and is still surviving and still evolving, all right? And this is really fantastic. And who invented the internet? All right, it was started and led by US Department of Defense. Why did they want to invent such a thing? Because they were thinking of a situation, right, during wartime, when your enemy sabotage your network, then what heck is going to happen? All right, so that time, the Defense Department were wondering, could we have a more robust, right? Here, the term robust is to describe that when you have a network, when someone sabotage on your network such that part of it got crippled, can your network still functions, right? So that was the motivation behind developing the internet. And that is where it has come to today, that it's still being used because it has proven that that strategy was really powerful and useful, right? Why? Imagine when some of the server was brought down or were to be brought down by hackers or because of power failure and so on, it will not affect other activities within the internet, right? And this is something really nice. Unlike our power outage in a residential area, if you look at the power outage within a residential area, you can see that if you have power failure at your home, if you look out the window, all your neighbors also don't have any electrical power. And this is what we don't want to see in the internet, right? And therefore, in terms of usage, e-commerce, social media, and so on, even if one of the server or company or system that is down, it doesn't bring down everyone, all right? So that is really something important for you to take note. With the internet, knowing some of the history, then we ask ourselves, what are the various development with the internet? Some of you may be there to witness the internet bubble, all right? But here I'm not talking about internet business and so on. I'm looking at applications of the internet. So let me start off with the Internet of Documents. When internet was first developed, everyone was thinking that now with this network, how can we make use of it? And the first thing that comes into mind is digitalization, all right? Instead of a physical book, can we have e-books, right? Can we have encyclopedia and so on? And that is the first movement into documents application, where physical information like books, documents, and so on is now digitalized and be made available on the internet. Next is about the Internet of Commerce. Commerce here refers to financial services. In this particular case, we can see this commerce as in e-banking. All right, how can you do transaction over the internet? how can you do remittance and so on. So that was the next step that internet has evolved. And some of you are already using internet of applications, right? What is this internet of applications? If you were to look at Microsoft Office 365, you can then see that this internet of application is to bring application into the internet. So instead of installing Office on your laptop, nowadays, you don't even have to install any software. With a browser, you can do a lot of things already. All right. In case you are not aware, Arduino IDE has a web-based counterpart, which means you can actually run web-based Arduino IDE and do your programming without having to install Arduino IDE on your laptop physically. And moving into Internet of Applications, why this is powerful? This is because imagine when your laptop is down, all right, touch wood, or you forget to bring your laptop, but you are overseas and you need to access your documents. And this is the part that is going to be very helpful, all right, because everything is still in the internet. As long as you can get connected to the internet, you can still do your application, you can work on your work document or do your project work on your PowerPoint slides and so on. All right, so this is the Internet of Applications. Now, in this fourth usage of the internet, here we talk about it as the Internet of People, right? Internet of People. And for the past 10 or decades or a couple of decades, we have seen how social media have evolved and grew, all right? And this is the part that is very closely related to us, because now everyone is into social media, posting of daily activities, sharing, and so on. And therefore, this is nothing new to all of you. You are also a member within this social media. But I hope you can actually see that the internet with the capability of interconnection have helped everyone to be in the front line. Some of you are reporters because you are snapping this and that and posting as if you are as if you are reporters reporting certain events that's happening. Okay, and in other cases, you might be viewers looking at others people's posts and so on, and this provided tons of information. So if you recall, in our week 6 lecture, when we talk about the handphone, all right, the handphone blooms because partially of social media also. These two tie hand in hand, and they are helping each other to grow tremendously. And finally, all right, this is where we are today. I think we are closing to the end of this part already of IoT, right? Internet of Things. And where we talk about Internet of Things, we want system, we want devices to be connected to the internet. And for manufacturing sector, for example, we are looking at how machines can be connected to collaborate, to share information so that they can bring about productivity. If you look at healthcare, similar things is happening. All right, how can equipment with informations to be shared within the network? What is next? All right, what is next? Some of you might have come up with the idea. All right, so you have seen quite a bit of Gen AI and so on. So there are actually speculation that now we are in the era of AIoT, all right, artificial intelligence of things and so on. All right, so these are still bubbling, and I'm still unsure. I don't want to coin down what is going to happen next. Let us keep in view. But I think the future is very interesting, right? With all the machine learning coming along, DeepSeek is one of the uprising, although it's not promising a lot more in terms of power. Of course, it's not as powerful as the rest, but they promise more affordable usage of their capability. All right, so these are the 5 internet eras as of now, right? No one knows what is going to be next, but I think as I share with you, you can see that the internet has helped in a lot of transformation. So what is IoT? All right, we are in this course. This course is Industrial Internet of Things. I thought it would be good to let you revisit some of the definitions out there. So in this particular definition, Internet of Things, all right, what is it? I've tried to describe is quite a huge entity itself. All right, you can see it as a system, a huge system that comprises of many different objects. And why are they there? So that it can be discovered, can be monitored, can be controlled, and can interact by electronic devices. How do they communicate? All right, over various network interfaces, and eventually they are connected to the wider internet. So in short, what you have gone through with me in week 6 and this week onwards, you will experience the implementation of Internet optics, right? Putting your MKR into the internet, interacting, exchanging of information, and so on. And I hope that you are resonating with what I've just said over here with this particular paragraph. As we move into week 8 now, and the project work coming along, I need to get you to understand what we have learned so far. With embedded system, which taught by Prof. Howard, right? What have you learned? You are able to interact or at least use your embedded system to get sensor data, to do some control, right? In future, depending on your use case, you may come up with different algorithm, automation, or computation. And in terms of communication interface, by now you should know the MKR uses Wi-Fi as one of the means to get connected to the internet. That is something that I've not mentioned in class, but some of you might have read it somewhere. MKR supports Bluetooth also. So if you are keen to explore some of these new areas on your own, yeah, well, Bluetooth is another way for you to make use of MKR to join the internet, just like the Share a Bike application, where the users use their handphone to communicate and talk to the bicycle through Bluetooth. So back to our part. When you are tasked to work on a project work, it is important for you to look around, right? What are the things around you? If you are looking at solving a problems, for example, curtain. A curtain is a passive device, a piece of cloth, right, that blocks sunlight at the window or near the window. In this case, we have to ask ourselves, what is the function? Of course, the curtain is to block the sunlight and to provide shade. But is it smart? All right, so we are going to move into the area of looking at smart devices. And this is dependent on how you look into this problem. All right, if you are going to design a smart curtain, then the question is, could you interact with this smart curtain? How are you going to interact? How are you going to control? And so on. Likewise, in terms of TV, some of you may have a TV box to acquire some of the channels that you are viewing and so on. Some of the TV box have intelligence built in, or I should say, collecting data from your usage, and then subsequently be able to provide some recommendation on what you should watch and what you shouldn't be, or what should not be shown to you, and so on. So in terms of TV box, the function is to provide you with media, but is it smart? It really depends on what is being included. Of course, in today's context, a lot of data gathering need your consent, so you have to make your choice. So some of you might say that, oh, my TV box is dumb. Before you say that, maybe you have to look back when you first set up, did you enable some of the data collection and so on? Now, when we talk about curtain and TV, all right, when we want to have that kind of smartness or intelligence within them, what can we do? All right, or what should be empowered to them? So the question raised here, what if the TV can talk to the curtain? So we are trying to imagine in a situation, in the case of TV, able to communicate with the curtain. Just imagine yourself in a theater, a cinema, all right, in a cinema theater, just before your show starts, all right, you can see that the lights dims down, maybe the door will close and so on. So all this, I believe, is done by human. There will be staff at the door to help close the door. There will be staff at the control room, dimming down the light and so on. Imagine you want to enjoy your favorite video or movie at home, all right? When you turn on the TV, going to start your show and so on. If the TV know that you're going to start the movie show, the TV, if empowered with this communication to the curtain, then the TV can instruct the curtain to do wonders, right? To close up the curtain, dim down the light and so on, to create the ambient and make it more enjoyable for you to watch your movie. All right, and these are the things that I believe that you can imagine. And I strongly believe that we have empowered you by giving you the devices, letting you know how to program Arduino Sketch, getting data, sending commands, communicating within field bus, which is Modbus, Modbus TCP. And then last week, we shared about how you can actually share data to a ThinkSpeed server and so on. So if you look at the way that we try to describe things in today's context, when we talk about smart, often I think the word smart has been badly abused, right? Everything also smart, smartphone, smart wallet, whatever things that you can come up with, just add the word smart in front of it and you become intelligent. Is that the case? I think we really have to be careful by the way we describe smart thing.